Hello, world. So I'm catching a late night scream stream with Nurse Kim here. She is one that I literally cannot figure out. I honestly think she believes what she's saying. If somebody knows different, please let me know, because I do not understand this woman. I really feel like she is brainwashed. She cannot accept blatant evidence right in front of her eyes. It's scary. So we're gonna watch all of the evidence that Hank pulls out that proves Karen's taillight was broken and missing pieces, which we'll get to at the very end of this. His final shabam. I can't think of the right word. Gauntlet he throws down. And she just literally ignores it and says things that are not intelligent. This woman is a nurse. And she claims that because John's injuries don't look like injuries that she thinks that they should look like, because it's not a typical freaking motor vehicle pedestrian accident, Nurse Kim. This is a woman who is a psychopath who got behind the wheel of a car after drinking all night and getting pissed off at, most likely in my mind, and this is my thought process, John trying to break up with her ass once and for all and telling her to get her shit and get out. She saw red, threw her car in reverse, 24 miles per hour, 62 plus feet, 75% of that accelerator pushed down, not manually touching the brake once. All the bells and whistles going off in her Lexus vehicle, hitting him, clipping him, her words, not mine. She left him to die in the cold. What is going to wake you up to that fact? She is a psychopath that you have put on a pedestal, that you are simping for. You have dedicated your life to this. And she is a psychopath, Kim. She is a psychopath.
And so we can quibble and we can dispute. Samples of the video to see if it was in the same condition. Inverted for the back wall and fuzzy for the front wall. And we have those, and we turn those over to the defense. And I just wanted Your Honor to see a small clip of that to show this condition, these conditions existed before this case was even a moment. So with the court's permission, I'm going to ask to put up exhibit number 2. Exhibit number 2 shows the inverted camera from January 1st, 2022. Now this is 28 days before Ms. Reed's Lexus hits the Sally Port area. Now you can see, if you stop that please, thank you very much. On that wall, on that garage wall, there's a 4. It is backwards. This Sally Port video was not...
Okay, I'm going to fast forward this. This is not a very interesting part.
Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle in his driveway at about 5:07 in the morning on January 29th. He says, I'm not aware of that. And then if we move to page 124.
Too far.
January 1st, 2020. Like Mario Andretti's wife. Reaching at approximately 12:32 a.m. on January 29th, 2022. At the 2:30 a.m. pass by Lucky Laughran, those pieces...
What we know is that missing taillight was not tampered with because it was gone hours before police even touched Ms. Reed's vehicle. At 5:08 a.m., she left Meadows Road. That's John O'Keefe's home. And when she left at 5:08 a.m., that taillight part was already missing. If we look at Exhibit 6, please. This is from the Ring video of John O'Keefe's home. This evidence directly contradicts the idea that the Sally Port video is...
Great question, Danny Thomas. How did they get video from Canton Police Department Sallyport of January 1st, 2022?
Nurse Kim, here's what they do. And if you paid attention to the answers when they're given in court, you too would know these facts. But somehow, y'all don't listen when it's important for y'all to listen. I don't get it. Like, I really, honestly, I don't get it with you, Kim. Do you seriously not get this? Because I'm, like, legitimately concerned about you. Because you do seem like a sweet person, like you care, like you have a heart of gold. But you are on the wrong side of history. And you are not seeing things that are right in front of your face. So if you're bullshitting, I gotta say, you do it well. Because I can't figure it out. I think that you cannot see the truth because you don't want to see the truth. That's what I think. But I could be wrong. So again, if anybody knows that she knows the truth and she's literally just bullshitting, please let me know. I forgot.
What about the 30-day?
I forgot to answer your question. So they download. This retired police officer that had downloaded some of this information to the cloud, which was a detective account. It wasn't his personal iCloud. It's an account for the police station or the detectives, or I'm not sure of the semantics there, but it was a work cloud account. And they download things. It was standard operation SOP. I think that they did periodically, and also when they had specific cases, they would download it. But they're not,
cat litter.
damn it, this stupid thing. They're not going to download or think that video evidence of her vehicle sitting in the Sallyport 24 hours a day for however many days it was there. Why would they think that they should give that to the defense? Like, what purpose would that serve? In the normal realm of human mindset, okay, these detectives are investigating a scene where a police officer was found in the exact place that this woman left him, said that she left him, and he has passed away. He has taillight fragments all around him in his clothing. He has a horrible injury to the back of his head from obvious hitting, most likely the ground. He has an injury on his knee in the exact spot that the vehicle likely made contact in the sideswipe. There are imprints on her vehicle and scratches of where his hand likely was holding a glass and or his phone and or whatever he had in his hands, likely a glass or two. All of the evidence is there. So why would these detectives think, gee, I bet we should flood these defense attorneys with, 8,000 hours of Sallyport video of her vehicle just sitting there? I mean, what the fuck would they think that is going to serve? It is not exculpatory, and in no world would they suspect that it would be exculpatory because they're investigating a hit-and-run murder. They have the freaking murder weapon and all of the evidence.
Memory is full. Open the...
It is an obvious, straightforward case for them. They would not think, I would not think, that we should save 8,000 hours of a vehicle sitting in a fucking Sallyport and send that over to the defense. You're just flooding them with... That's how people bamboozle each other. That's not their MO, clearly. They don't want to frickin', do that kind of shit. They don't play dirty tactics. They're straightforward. Here are the facts. Here's what we have. Here's all the photos. Here's the forensic evidence. Here's the text stream data. Here's his injuries. Here's how it lines up. Like, it all makes sense. And then 9 months later or 6 months later, however long it took for them to dream up this conspiracy, now they're like, oh yeah, everybody's framing her because all of the evidence is way, like, we can't overcome this mountain of evidence. The only way we can do it is to claim corruption and throw good men under the bus and try to destroy their professional reputation, their families, their livelihood. And they're continuing to do that to this day. It's repulsive.
What about the 30-day loop? And the overwriting? Like, how would you have had that as your, I don't know, your proof or your evidence that there was no wrongdoing by the Commonwealth from a date that predates the 3-year mark that we've already passed? In this case, is that like sample footage? What the fuck are we doing?
Well, to show you. If we touches into Stroke's car, she will pull forward. And we'll spot the video in 2 spots. You can get a clear look of that red like this. Forward, please. Thank you. And then ahead one more. You can see the white light shine. Stop. You can see it clearly missing. You can't plant something that's already gone.
Oh.
The reason why you see white is a red tail light cover, and when the red is missing or gone, as it is in this case, the white bulb still shines, and that's why it shines white.
Oh my God. Okay, I think I fast forwarded through this, guys. This is wild. I'm sure that 9,645 people have corrected this, but that doesn't match up to what part of Karen's taillight was gone.
This is cognitive dissonance, people. It is cognitive dissonance. She has decided and she has dedicated her life and her livelihood to this cause. And she cannot accept the fact that this taillight is missing pieces. So now it doesn't match up according to what? Her brain? Because her brain is not reliable, apparently. Because if this taillight is missing pieces, how do you explain that, Kim? Did they super glue a bunch of it back on and then replace some of them so that it was in a different configuration by the time it got to the Sally port? Like, what is your theory? What are you trying to say? It's missing pieces. You're saying it doesn't match the missing pieces that were missing? So now it's not, so now you're saying it is missing pieces, but it doesn't match the actual damage. So I'm confused. What are you saying? How are you concluding this? Like, where's the whole theory?
Oh, and why does it look like it's white on the other side? Oh, Hank.
It doesn't look like it's white on the other side. I don't know what you're looking at. That's white right there on the right. If anybody knows how to prevent these little pop-ups coming up on my phone, please let me know. I have taken it and got it cleaned like 16 times and it keeps doing this. So I'm not sure why. There shouldn't be any viruses on there, but it's so annoying.
Oh, Hank. Hank, this was a...
Okay, so she's saying that that the left side has white. No, look, I mean, you can clearly see the white on the right. That whole chunk is missing right there. Nothing over there. It's yellow. There's no white. It looks just like this right there. Because you can't see the side of that anyways. You see this part of that. If that little bit on the side there, that might be what she's talking about. That's just, it's not white though, it's yellow. The wraparound, the glow.
Poor choice.
The defense position is also contradicted by the ARCA witnesses. If we look at Dr. Wolf's testimony, day 31 of trial, it's noted as Exhibit 10 in our package, page 36. ADA Lally asks the good doctor, now doctor, in the course of your analysis or review of materials here, were you ever provided with a video of the defendant backing out a garage and making contact with Mr. Roki's vehicle in his driveway at about 5:07 in the morning on January 29th? Says, I'm not aware of that. And then if we move to page 124, line 1. Now, line 2. Now, as far as you're aware from the review and you're testing everything that you did in this case, if a collision occurred at a lower speed, say 1, 2, anywhere from 0 to 5 miles an hour, would that create the damage to the taillight that you observed in this particular case? And Dr. Wolf says, at that speed, no. We provided notice of our own expert. And there's one thing, anything, but one critical thing the experts will all agree on. That nudging did not cause the damage to that taillight.
You're right, Hank. The nudging did not cause the damage to that taillight that you have tried to tell us looks the same as what was in Canton Police Department, Sallyport. You're absolutely right, babe. It just fucking cracked it.
The defense position is also contradicted by dash.
Okay, so again, what is your entire theory with this, Kim? Please explain it for all of us in the back that can't hear you, because I haven't heard an explanation, because you have one excuse for one thing and then it changes for the next piece of evidence. So in the previous piece of evidence with that whole big chunk missing, you're saying, okay, pieces are missing, but it doesn't look the same. The configuration is different. So I'm not sure how you complete that whole thought process. It literally doesn't make sense to me how do you complete that circle? Do they glue some pieces back on and then take out different pieces so that the configuration of the broken chunk looks different? Because I don't get it. So now we move on to the next piece of evidence. And you're saying that the ARCA people, you're conceding the fact that the one good thing that the ARCA person did, which he couldn't look like a complete moron, no, it's not going to break the taillight. So now you're saying that cracked the taillight. So in that short time where she love tapped John's vehicle, okay, which you're going to find out in court is impossible, and they have submitted their evidence to the judge already, to the court already, disproving that altogether, which I'm going to be real curious how you explain that in your brain, because you're going to see that the bumpers of each vehicle make contact. It is physically impossible for the taillight of Karen Reed's vehicle to hit any part of John O'Keefe's vehicle and cause any sort of damage to it, because the bumpers do what bumpers do. They protect the vehicles. Okay, so now when he hits you with that, you're saying that that is when it cracked. And then what? In those 30 feet where she's pulling out, she lost some pieces, but you can't see them in the snow, the red on top of the snow. And I know that y'all like to say that shit about the taillight found at 34. Well, guess what? It was under 3 feet of snow. Okay, it was under the plowed snow. 3 feet of snow. So it's not the same thing. If it fell out right there, you'd see it. It's on white snow. You'd see it, Kim. You would see it. I promise you. So, again, you're switching theories from one piece of evidence to the next, but I need a cohesive thought process that connects all of your theories into one theory that makes sense all the way through from beginning to end. On the taillight, just the taillight. We can deal with the whole case against Karen Reed at a later date, but right now, let's deal with just the taillight. So she cracked it when it's impossible to crack because the bumpers will do what bumpers do. But let's just go with your theory of she cracked it. And then what is it? Did she lose some pieces when she finished pulling around to get out of the driveway? She lost some pieces. We can't see the pieces on the snow. And then what? Like, how does it configure differently later?
Exactly. An officer went to the O'Keefe home to check on his niece and nephew on that tragic day. And when he did, he had a dash cam video further reinforcing that taillight is missing well before that vehicle makes it to the Sallyport area. We could play Exhibit 7, which is the dash cam footage showing Mr. O'Keefe's car in his driveway at 8:22 a.m. Keep it close up to the court, please. Compare the right side to the left side.
Mr. O'Keefe's car? What was that?
Yes, Nurse Kim. The man has, he has a million things going through his brain, and he made a mistake because he's thinking about Mr. O'Keefe's house. And he called Karen's vehicle Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle. He made a mistake. Is that acceptable to you? Do you ever make mistakes? Do you have to parse every single thing and scream that it's corruption and he's mean and everybody's ganging up on poor Karen? She's such an innocent victim. Because everybody in the world wants to frame an innocent woman that we don't know. I have contempt for this woman and I don't know her. She is dangerous. If you care about your life and your family's life, I would highly encourage you to not have any personal contact with this psychopath. She is dangerous, Kim.
I see Mr. O'Keefe's car. I see the Traverse. But do you know what you're even talking about?
Impacted by snow. If you close more close up, please, you can see that. You know, like, just like the detective guide said, just like the 508 ring video shows, it's missing. It's missing. There's no comment.
It's caked on. That's what I see.
The defense's position is also contradicted by the alarm.com video that we received pursuant to Rule 17. There are two videos, 8 and 9.
If you can't see that, again, cognitive dissonance. You refuse to see it. It is so blatant.
Play. Exhibit 8, please. This is the defense car arriving in the driveway.
And
Side, you can see them. Walk to the back of the car.
speaking of taillight, doctored taillight, I don't know, my brain just went to this. I strongly believe that the defense / Turtle Boy / I don't know, I've heard whispers of potentially Mike Crawford doing some editing for Turtle Boy. I don't know who has the capabilities of this stuff, but I strongly believe that they have doctored a lot of evidence. Autopsy photos of John that fucking Melanie Little keeps posting because she's a disgusting human being. I strongly believe that those have been photoshopped and the wounds have been made to look deeper in color and in severity as it would when it's doctored with the color. Okay, and then also this taillight situation where they've been passing around this video of the taillight where it looks red, the one that Sean was using every single time he was harping on and on about. I think that was doctored because this video is very clearly white. The video that was going around on all these FKR channels looked red. So, interesting. It would be very good to know who's been tampering with evidence. And did that evidence get put into court? Or was it just in the social media realm? Questions. I have questions.
The car near the white taillight is stopped. If the question is what are they stopping for, we can play video 9. This is when the car is being put on the tow truck before it makes its can. And just like 508.
And it was this moment, babes, that I believe that Karen Reed's Lexus SUV registers the event in question of less than 5 seconds where her tires are rotating in the snow. Not anything that occurred near 12:32 a.m. on January 29th. And Karen has always said, excuse me, sorry, babes. Karen has always said, I cracked my taillight. Was she showing? Hey, I cracked my taillight. Yeah, babe. Again, thank you for showing our case, Hank, and not doing a great job for your own.
Have you lost your ever-loving mind? She's saying that she thinks that the key cycle and the text stream data that registered the 62 feet in reverse was 75% of the accelerator pushed at 24 miles an hour with a slight jerk of the steering wheel that indicates a pedestrian strike.
Are you still using a blood?
Seriously, people, if you can help me figure out how to get this whatever bug is on my phone, it drives me crazy. I'm sure it drives you crazy. I apologize. 60 with the slight jerk in the steering wheel that indicates a pedestrian strike, Nurse Kim. I don't think that happened in this backing up of the vehicle onto the tow truck. I don't think that there was a slight jerk in the vehicle that indicated a pedestrian strike. I don't think that the accelerator was pushed down 75%. I don't know the distance. The 62 feet could be in the realm of possibilities. I don't think that they were traveling at 24 miles an hour. And I also see no indication that the tires were spinning out. You can tell when the vehicle is put into drive, and you can very clearly see the transition of the movement. There's no indication that the vehicle is put into drive and there's any spinning of wheels before the vehicle actually starts moving. It's very clean.
The driveway at Meadows, John O'Keefe's home, you'll see that right there, like shine white, showing the missing tail light cover on 2 occasions. Can I stop the video at the important points, please?
Can you lower it?
Cannot.
Can you zoom in on it?
I would encourage parties to look at it on the computer. The clarity is much better, and it's very clear. The white light is in the video. I cannot see it clearly on the screen.
Oh, I'm getting delusional. I'm so sorry, babes. He says, I would encourage you to go and just watch this because I can't see it. Okay? Look up on the screen. I can't see shit.
Oh my God, Nurse Kim. You know, this is the type of thing that it does concern me, that these jurors need to be able to see this. They need to be able to see this. I think that there are courtrooms now that they allot for certain things where they each have their own...
Can you believe this?
They each have their own screen. You know, I hope the Commonwealth has something. Maybe they do iPads or something that they can actually look at it, zoom in on it, see it for themselves. Because, and the X account, Just the Facts, I think it was called. I haven't seen them. They had really good information. I don't know if they're still on there, but that's where I got a lot of my information right away. And they pointed out that the justice for John O'Keefe, which is absolutely makes me physically ill every time I say that with regard to the people that are running that, because they're using Officer John O'Keefe's name to raise money for the person who murdered him, who has run a campaign of terror on his family, friends, and community for the past 2.5, 3 years, whatever it's been now. They're using his name, claiming that they want justice for him. And in order to have justice for him, they need to free Karen because she's factually innocent in the face of all of this evidence. It's disgusting. And the very simple fact that Karen has pretend she wasn't actually orchestrating all of this for a minute, and pretend like she's just an onlooker and all of these people are looking up to her like she's some sort of hero in the fight for justice and the fight against corruption, right? But not once does she say, stand down. Not once does she say, please don't treat John's family like that. Not once does she say, thank you for supporting me, but in order to support me, I beg of you to please not harass his family, friends, or community in any sort of way. Not once. Now, add the fact that she's been the puppeteer the entire time. She's the puppet master. That is a level of cruelty that a mentally sane person cannot even comprehend. I cannot comprehend that. I cannot even comprehend the fact that, let's say she was factually innocent and she wasn't the one being the puppet master. Okay? Just pretend land, since these people love to pretend. Let's pretend that she's just an innocent woman. She's being framed for the murder of her boyfriend. She has nothing to do with this innocence fraud campaign. And she's watching this happen. Even in that world, what would you do? Would you say, yes, keep harassing his family, friends, and loved ones. Yes, keep booing his family and friends when they don't believe me, so let's boo them. They don't believe me, so let's torture and terrorize them. Really? Is that how you would react? If you answer truthfully, honestly, yes, that scares me for a lot of people.
I can't see shit. Thank you, Hank. Thank you. So will you give me a flash drive of all of these exhibits?
Oh, no. If you look at our small screen, see right there?
I do see it.
And then you see it again.
I'm delusional.
So the alarm.com video contradicts the defense position that
Okay, can we all see this? Can we all?
position that anything is
Wait. There was nothing that was at the, wait a minute, wait a damn second. So he's telling us the white light and the farthest bottom corner now piece is missing, allegedly, from Karen's vehicle, but next to it is not.
Okay, so again, now she's reconfiguring it. In her brain, she's
For 15 minutes, and by playing any...
she's reconfiguring the taillight as if it's broken in one place. Like she's acquiescing that it's broken, that it's missing pieces, but she's claiming it's missing pieces in a different location. Kim, make that make sense. Complete that circle for me, please, because it's making me crazy. How? How is it missing pieces in a different location? What did they do to this vehicle's taillight to make it miss chunks in this configuration that we can clearly, plainly see, but yet in the Sally port, it's missing the pieces in a completely, entirely different configuration?
It is not. Oh, Hank, you're so fucked. I'm gonna go and get all the footage.
Please do.
Because the wing portion that goes onto the like rear quarter panel of Lexus's, that design was completely intact. And now you're saying that this white light is a representation of the missing piece.
Do you see that, Kim?
Oh, the defense is going to have a field day.
Help me.
That's the whole idea of third party. It doesn't come down until 9 months after this lead is indicted. Perhaps the best evidence that contradicts the defense position that there's any relevance to the Sally Port video, that there's any type of plant by anybody, is from the defendant herself.
Okay, this is good. This is what I wanted to see Kim's reaction to.
Ms. Reed spoke to Gretchen Voss on June 20th, 2023. In that testimony, or in that interview, she said, when my car was seized, there was a few small pieces of taillight missing that I had picked out at John's at 5:45 before we drove over to Fairview. I'm showing Jen.
Ooh, she's having some visceral reactions. Are we?
When you win a game.
Fairview. I'm showing Jen and Kerry, look what I just did to my light. And I'm worried that there's gonna be some kind of electric short circuit. There's like the bulb is showing, and some of the red plastic is missing. So I picked pieces out of the light housing that kind of collapsed within the light and dropped them in.
Watch her eyes. See, this is why I think that she actually believes it, because she does have visceral reactions to shit. I watched when she was doing her show with Dave on YouTube, and they were doing the reaction to, I think it was the 2020, when they were first getting some pretty damning evidence, and they didn't watch the actual show, but they came on and they were sitting there listening to it. Like, it was the weirdest stream, but I watched it because this is how
You can deposit it directly into your bank account.
This is how I try to figure out who is a grifter and who really truly believes this, because I don't want to shame anybody that really truly believes it. I really want to help them, right? So it's really difficult coming into this trying to fucking figure that out, because there's too many people that are dishonest. But she had some reactions on that too, but her brain just will not accept it.
Them in John's driveway. And so I say to the court, the production should have been sooner. It should have been cleaner. It should have been.
I'm gonna try to get this so we can watch her reactions again. Shit.
Oh, fucked. I'm gonna go and get all the footage. Because the wing portion that goes onto the like rear quarter panel of Lexus's, that design was completely intact. And now you're saying that this white light is a representation of the missing piece. Oh, the defense is going to have a field day.
About these Sally Port videos. That's the whole idea of third party. It doesn't come down until 9 months after this lead is indicted. Perhaps the best evidence that contradicts the defense position that there's any relevance to the Sally Port video, that there's any type of plant by anybody, is from the defendant herself. Ms. Reed spoke to Gretchen Voss on June 20th, 2023. In that testimony, or in that interview, she said, when my car was seized, there was a few small pieces of taillight missing that I had picked out at John's at 5:45 before we drove over to Fairview. I'm showing Jen and Kerry, look what I just did to my light. And I'm worried that there's gonna be some kind of electric short circuit. There's like the bulb is showing, and some of the red plastic is missing. So I picked pieces out of the light housing that kind of collapsed within the light and dropped them in John's driveway. And so I say,
When you
this should have been a log or an entry. The failure to provide was inadvertent. It was unfortunate. It shouldn't happen. But it's not Brady. It's not exculpatory. It's not intentional. It's not tampered with. It was inadvertent and inconsequential because the evidence is overwhelming that light is missing before the car makes.
Thanks, walk in the.
That is my argument regarding the Rule 14 issue. I would like to have time to speak about the claim of jury tampering. I understand the temperament of the court. I'm not tone deaf, but it is a claim that was
You are tone deaf.
lodged that has collateral consequence. And I think it's important to be able to address it. May I?
Yes.
The claim of jury tampering is probably one of the most serious claims that one can make because it's not simply a tap on a case.
This section about jury tampering is also very important, but I'm going to cut this short because I need to just try to be quick about this stuff. Watch her eyes. Go back and watch it again. People, when they don't want to believe something, their body language and their eyes give them away. There's a reason why they're called the windows to our souls. Little things that people do is things like shut their eyes. And you can see her doing that. It's milliseconds of a difference, but you can see it. And this is on like 1.5 speed, so you can even slow this down, do it in slow-mo, and watch her eyes. She's having reactions. Kim, what is going through your head? And why, after that whole diatribe about Karen's words, those are Karen's words, she plucked pieces out of her taillight. She was worried she was going to have electrical issues, and she threw pieces in John's driveway, which are the pieces that they didn't recover when they put the taillight back together to Kim. We've been trying to tell you this for over a year. And you won't listen. You won't hear it. You won't accept it. Those are Karen's words, Kim. Karen's words. And you skate over it. You disregard it. You literally, you can't accept it. And then you don't stop and pause and talk shit. You're not laughing now, are ya? You're not telling Hank he's an idiot at this point. You're like, fuck. So, how do you even that in your brain? What's the word I'm looking for? How do you, make sense of that? I can't think of the word. Y'all will probably know what I'm trying to think of. How do you make sense of that, Kim? Because where's your commentary? When are you going... Kim, I'm not doing this to be rude. I seriously am curious. I want to know if you believe this stuff, because it seems to me like you do. But you keep having these visceral reactions to new information that really isn't new, because people have been telling you this information for a long time, but you won't accept it. But you're hearing it in a court of law for the first time, and the defense is not arguing the point. They're not denying the point. They're not talking about it. They're just doing exactly what you're doing. They're just ignoring it. They pretend like it doesn't exist. Just like Melanie Little does. They just pretend, they just have amnesia, selective amnesia, never happened, we're going to skate over that nobody ever said that wasn't said in court. If it was said in court, they were lying, because nobody tells the truth in court except, Alan Jackson, a defense attorney? Is he the only one that's honest in a courtroom? I mean, you have to have some common sense.
How much money do you have in your bank account?
I'm kind of just going.
And know that a defense attorney's job is to get their client out of criminal charges. I mean, I have to believe that you understand that part of the criminal process, the charging process, okay? So that's his job. But you are going to disbelieve every single person in this entire county except Alan Jackson and David United, right? I can't with you. Okay, so that's my question to you, Nurse Kim. Love to hear from you. Anybody has the scoop on what her thought processes are? Because I don't know if I should feel sorry for her, try to help her, or be pissed at her. My soul is conflicted. That looks like a face that knows that that is starting to realize, oh shit. So, spread light and love, everybody. Hugs and smiles go a long way in this world. Small actions can move mountains. Let's use our small actions for good people, for good families, for good souls that are suffering. All of you people that donate thousands of dollars to these causes, to this cause. There are causes out there that need your help. Karen is not one of them. She's a guilty murderer. According to her and her attorneys, they're all working for free, so what does she need all your money for? So she can eat steak and lobster and get drunk all day every day? Ride in limos? Have bodyguards? I mean, who is this woman? She's a murderer. This is not Whitney Houston. She does not need a bodyguard. Nobody's trying to kill her. It's ridiculous. I hope you wake up. I really do. It's going to be hard. I know you're married, and I hope your husband is a good support system for you, because you're going to need it. Because if you really believe this, Kim, my heart goes out to you. It's going to be a very difficult reality to come to terms with. And I feel for you. If that's true. If you're lying, then I've got a different sentiment for you. But I don't know. Love and light, everybody.